This is Sexy Funny Raw, where we talk all about the world of sex, from dating and relationships to the adult industry itself, answering all the questions you weren't even brave enough to ask Google. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Sexy Funny Raw. I am your host, Silvia Sage, and joined with me today is a very interesting writer who has now been writing for the very exclusive Vice. Please welcome Ashley Fike.
Hello.
Ashley, I'm so excited to have you here because not only are you a writer for Vice, but you are actually their sex writer, if you will, right?
That's part of it for sure. I wouldn't say I'm the solo sex expert on the team, but it's definitely something I really love writing about, and
Yeah,
it really seems to resonate with people. So
absolutely it does. But you were a writer for 15, you've been a writer for 15 years, so it's not something new to you. But was this kind of like a drastic turn in your career going to work for Vice?
it was. When I first started working for Vice, I thought it was just an awesome opportunity. They're everywhere, everybody knows that name. And actually, one of my very first articles I wrote was about sex, and it went absolutely viral. And I was like, okay, this is fun. Let's see what else we can find that's out there.
Yeah. So I guess they had told you when you first started working for them that they wanted you to kind of give stories that were going to make people kind of say like, what the fuck? So
Exactly.
what was your first thought and what was that first article that like blew up for you?
Yeah, of course it is Vice. We want to make people go, what the fuck, when they're
Yeah.
scrolling. And it's always wants to be eye-catching, weird, bizarre, but true and real life. So
Mm.
I was like, what's out there? I kind of started seeing what was trending, and it was actually about hotwifing was my
Yeah.
first one.
So explain hot wifing to us because I certainly had never heard this term before and I don't think a lot of my listeners have. So
Yeah, I hadn't either. I guess we could all say we've heard of it in a way, but maybe not described and wrapped in this package. Basically, it's men encouraging their wives to sleep with other men while usually they watch.
mm.
And yeah, many couples are claiming that hot wifing, letting somebody sleep with your hot wife, is actually really helpful for their relationship. They're finding it satisfying in the way that it brings them closer. She's asserting this power and he's enjoying that power. And so, yeah, it was very interesting.
Yeah, so we've known that to be cuckolding in my
Yeah,
industry for a long time, but I actually prefer the term hot wifing.
I
and
do too. I do too.
and to me it is very interesting because it's about the woman getting the pleasure, which oftentimes in our society, which is obviously very heavily male dominated, I feel like a lot of the power shift usually goes into the man having more fun. So I really love this scenario of like, oh, letting my hot wife enjoy somebody else's dick just for a minute, just while I
Yeah,
watch.
yeah, exactly. It's not about like this dysfunctional relationship. It's about agency and,
Mm.
that empowerment of women for sure.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I mean, occasionally in a happy marriage, people do get bored with sex, but I think there's something to be said about also being there and having the voyeurism of it because it's not them stepping out on you, it's them including you in this experience. So I really enjoy.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think people do get bored in their marriages, and the biggest problem with that is they kind of stop talking about it or going elsewhere with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think couples could be surprised what could happen in their relationship if they just opened up and kind of shared their fantasies, their
Mm-hmm.
kinks, and things they'd like to try. So you never know.
Yeah, I always suggest to people like separately to write your own list of fantasies with like you write one and then your partner writes one, and then you guys come together and compare and contrast and see if maybe you have anything that overlaps or anything that kind of sparks your interest that they thought of that you never did. I think it's
Yeah,
like a really fun way to open up your bored marriage, you know?
yeah, that's a
Not
great
that
idea.
all marriage is boring. I'm not saying that. Just saying eventually we all get tired of eating chicken. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
so you've covered a lot of really interesting stories. Another one that you covered that again, don't know much about, which is kind of shocking to me being in the adult industry, and that's penis fillers. So
Another
how,
one that
yeah,
really took off.
yeah, how common is this? And explain it to us. Like what's happening?
I don't think I'd say it's common, but
Okay.
it's definitely happening more and more. I think it was a small percentage. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but it's not just small, but it is growing is
Okay.
another thing. I think it's, it's kind of taking that the beauty standards that women are always held to,
Mm.
and whether, you want to get a BBL or your boobs done or whatever, that's
Hmm.
always been so focused on women. And now it's changing and men are wanting to enhance themselves too. And that happens to be also with their penis size. And it's crazy because I didn't realize uh, you know, I didn't realize how much shame and insecurity and stuff was kind
Mm.
of tied to this. And it's really like changing the game for a lot of men to just make them feel better and more confident about themselves.
So is it Botox in the penis or what is it? Do you?
It's hyaluronic acid, so it's just like
Okay.
filler.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Hmm.
So is it actually giving them size? Is it giving them girth or is it giving them length? Like what is?
Yes, it is. It's more of a girth thing.
Okay.
I think they're seeing like something like, you know, two, I don't know, I read something like 2/3 of an inch around or something. It was not minuscule. I mean,
Huge.
it's
Yeah.
making a difference though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Interesting.
yeah. Yeah.
And now I feel like I need to interview a man who has had penis injections. I'm like, I am the injectable queen. I love myself an injectable, but I didn't even know that in the penis was a thing. And next time I go to my face doctor, which needs to be very soon, we're Sharpaying very quickly.
Girl.
But I'm like, I'm going to ask about this, and I'm going to ask if they're doing it in their offices. Like,
I'm curious too. I don't know if it's more of like specific clinics that are like specializing in this or what.
oh yeah,
I'm,
yeah, yeah,
I'm curious because I know it's picking up, and I mean, the more people find out about it, if they have the money to shell out
yeah.
for it, they're gonna be interested in it.
I feel like here in Hollywood, especially, that would be a very big cosmetic procedure.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
it's just
gonna,
like changing the game of like, cosmetic enhancements are not
yeah,
just women, and
yeah,
yeah, it's truly the, kind of the it's not for them, it's for me thing too. I mean, I
yeah,
believe it. I mean, it's a game changer for some guys. So
yeah.
more
That's why we all
more
do
power to
it.
you.
Yeah, that's why we all do those things. I'm with it. I'm like, go and have the procedures done. Do whatever you want. I also prefer a man who gets a manicure and a pedicure. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I like to put those digits in my mouth. I would like them to be clean, you know?
yeah, totally.
Okay, so you wrote another article. I promise I'm going to get off of every article you've ever written, but they're interesting to me because this one is also something I deal with a lot, and it is the world of JOIs.
Ah,
And to people who don't know, that's jerk off instructions. And it is filled up in my inbox of people making requests for this.
really? Okay, yeah.
But here's the thing, like, as a woman, I don't ever feel like I've needed to be instructed on how to masturbate. So it's always such a weird draw to me that men find this so appealing, I guess. Like, what do you think that is?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I had not heard of this. I actually had somebody reach out to me about this story and pitched it to me. It's somebody who was in the industry as well. And he's like, you won't believe how absolutely popular this is getting. And it's
Yeah.
JO, which is jerk off instruction. And I was like, no way. But it is huge. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it goes back to some like childhood, like, mommy stuff, like just being told what to do, or
Yeah.
it's just that feeling of, loving the dominance. And
Mm.
it's also so one-on-one. It's also
Yeah.
so tailored to them,
Hmm.
their situation, who they are. It's not some blanket statement porn that they're watching. It's
Yeah.
really specific, and it's a connection for them as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's true. I need to get more creative with mine then because now I'm like, are they really relying on me? Because here I am this whole time, like, surely they know how to jerk off. I'm just giving them like a pep talk, right? But maybe I need to step by step it, break it down. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the more helpful and descriptive you can be, the better in that
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, no kidding. I want to know the psychology behind it, though, is what I'm really interested in. I'm like, you might be right. It's probably something from childhood. It always is, right?
It always is. I'm going Freud here. I'm not sure, but
Well, I also think too, because, if you grew up religious in any way, shape, or form, religion always told you not to masturbate, not to touch yourself, how that's like bad. So maybe they truly were like, I have no idea how to do this. They're just genuinely asking for some help. So yeah,
That's hilarious.
I'm going to start tailoring it more to that. So what do your friends and family think of you doing all of these like kind of edgy types of articles? Do they say anything or are they just like, yeah, that's her, that's what she's into?
Um, my friends and family are super supportive.
Good.
My writing career in general. I've had friends like message me on social media after they see something get published on their feed, like, what the fuck did you just write about? What is this? I'm like, I didn't make this up. Um, so my as far as my parents go, they're like, oh boy, I don't think they really read what I'm writing. So
Okay.
yeah.
They know. They're just like, yeah, we don't need to know the
They know. And
details.
also my portfolio, expands to much more,
Of course.
many other topics. So
Yeah, of course. But this one is something that people really, you even mentioned before in your pre-interview that like sex is something that everybody does want to talk about. They just don't know how to do it in a public setting. But when you get people behind some closed doors and maybe with a glass or two of wine in them, people will open up to you and just spill it all out. You guys
yeah,
get confessionals, right, from your people? Do
I
they
mean
get
it
like,
happened.
yeah. What is like
Yeah.
the craziest confessional you've ever heard from somebody?
Oh geez. I mean, it's not so much like confessionals. That's something brand new that I've heard. It's
Okay.
just the reaction to the article saying like, "Oh my gosh, you either gave this name to something I've been wondering about,
Mm,
or that's exactly what we've been doing. I've been wanting to do." You just see this
hmm
flood of people that feel like like you said, they can open up now. I feel
hmm
like sex is this taboo topic for many people, especially depending on where you grew up, who your family is, like you said,
hmm
religious affiliations. But at the same time, it's the most universal human thing
hmm
about us. I mean, like, it's absolutely relatable. It brings out, insecurities and fear, but also just like lust and passion and dreams and fantasies. And it's all
hmm
encompassed in this one topic. So it's crazy.
Yeah. And the moment you make them feel like I'm not going to judge you, then they're like, okay, hold on. I've got so much I've been waiting to say to somebody. So yeah.
100%.
But I
Yes. It's
also, I,
sorry, go ahead.
no, I'm just saying I also love being that person for people. I'm like, yeah, bring it on. Tell me all your weird shit. You
Oh
know?
yeah, I know exactly. The most non-judgmental, open-minded person because I just find it all fascinating. I think humans are just like
hmm
the most complex, interesting creatures, and especially below the surface when it's stuff that's not out there and usually talked about. So exactly, you open those floodgates, and
hmm
it's really it goes from sex to this like deeply emotional and personal topic that goes way, way deeper than just the act of sex,
A
always.
100%. And it's always evolving. Like now we have this, obviously, this new group of humans coming up in the world. You and I are around the same age. I'm in my 40s as well. So, but we have this, this new group, these Gen Xers that are coming up, and we're saying that they're very non sexual, which is interesting because they're also seemingly the most open group to come along
Yeah.
sexually with, labels and understanding different dynamics and relationships, but they almost seem to be asexual. And I think you gave it a term, graysexual. Is that correct?
Yeah, I just shared the term that's starting to become more popular.
Okay.
I feel like Gen Z is a really fascinating demographic to me because they're kind of this weird anomaly, but also revolutionary. And, like I didn't go to high school with social media, thank
Mm-hmm.
God, or a cell phone, and it's like they grew up with this. They've been
mm-hmm.
exposed to so much from the get-go. And so their level of rebellion isn't like sneaking out to have sex, out of their bedroom window at night. It's like opting out and choosing their own personal, identities. And
Mm-hmm.
that's their form of rebellion. And, again, all these terms, they're not new concepts. It's just, I think it really helps this generation to also have that label, feel included, like they belong and they're not some weirdo out there in a world that's really disconnected. And that's the world they've kind of grown up in.
Yeah. I also, not that I'm it sounds weird to say blaming porn, but I do put a finger towards the ability to get so much porn so easily and at your fingertips and for free, just because like we didn't have that growing up. I had, I found my dad's Playboys, and I definitely found some not even DVDs, VHS tapes, that my dad had that were like porn. But it wasn't the same accessibility. And I feel like because sex was so much on the table for them and it wasn't taboo, that they were like, yeah, I don't really need to like go after it because it's right there.
Yeah.
It would be the same way as if your parents were always had a bunch of drugs around and alcohol. You'd be like, yeah, I don't really need it. It's always at my disposal, you know?
Yeah.
So I just
Yeah.
think it was way more taboo for us to get into sex, you
I
know?
totally agree. Yeah. And I feel like because of that exposure and
Mhm.
everything, and they've had that kind of just at, you could open up their phone and find porn, like you said, anywhere.
Mhm.
They just put it in the search bar. But I
Mhm.
feel like that also leads to a lot of pressure in a way.
Mm.
Again, with body image, the way you perform,
True.
how you have sex, blah, blah, blah. If you're not feeling that way, I could imagine that's really, scary, especially if you're a teenager or something. But at the same time, they've taken that and kind of turned it into their world of, consent,
Mhm.
language, like how much emotional labor you want to give to people.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I feel like they're trying to lean into more thoughtful, intentional relationships, but it's hard for them to do at the same time. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
the duality.
Yeah. It's very interesting, but I think they're a great generation. I just want to say that. I think you guys are doing
Yeah,
great things. Think you guys are going to change the world, and yeah. But makes
absolutely.
let's make sex fun again. Let's do that. But I don't know how we get there. You are recently navigating sobriety. You are a few years sober, correct?
Just shy of a year and 6 months. It'll be
Well,
September 20th, is a year and 6 months.
well, congratulations. I love
Thanks.
that for you.
Thanks.
So, obviously, as women in our 40s, a lot of things are changing with our bodies anyway. So, you are dealing with, libido changes and chemical changes within our body, and then you quit drinking. How did that all change your sex life and how you write about sex?
Yeah, first off, I didn't expect the timing of all this to kind of all kind of get shoved into 1 year. When I got sober a year and a half ago, I was like, okay, first off, this needed to happen. I was not on a good path. I think I drank all the alcohol, so it was time to get
Yeah.
up. So I was like stoked to see where my body could change into and really see where my health would go. And then, like, 7 months later, it was like my body was like, no, we're switching things up on you totally.
Yeah.
And, oh, you're 41. Yeah, let's have some fun. So
Hmm.
yeah, it was like the switch went off in
Hmm.
me. And I was like, I went from, feeling like a normal person and wanting to have sex with my very hot boyfriend often to like not at all. It was like
Hmm.
scary to me. It was like, what is happening? I feel broken. I started figuring out what else I could blame it on. I really had a rough past like 3 years, and maybe it's depression, maybe it's anxiety, but it just felt so much bigger than that. And yeah, just noticing, hair in places that you don't want it. Like, what
Right.
the that? Like, I'm I'll admit it, I'm a vain person, and you're just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Like, I
Girl,
don't
same.
enjoy this. And so, yeah, I had my hormones tested actually recently, and
Oh,
it was
good.
like low testosterone, super high estrogen, so out of balance. I was like, all right, so that's my new mission now, is to try to figure out how to
Balance.
make this easier, this portion of life. Because it's funny, because I don't know about you, but like growing up, hearing my mom and stepmom and stuff talk about menopause and what
Mm.
that feels like. It just feels so distant future, never
Yes.
gonna happen. That's like old lady stuff. And you're like,
Yeah.
wait, I still feel like I'm 25. What's happening?
Yeah. Mentally still 25. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then your face starts falling off. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
Put the skin back in the places it used to be,
Right.
please.
Right.
But do you feel like it's changed, like, your sex life? Do you feel like it slowed down your sex life? Or do you feel like when you got sober, it kind of picked things back up for you?
Um, I would say it made it way more of a connecting experience.
Mm,
I honestly didn't have sex sober prior. It just wasn't a thing for me. I
okay.
always have to be a little tipsy and stuff. So I was like navigating some totally new
Mm.
territory. And I found it to be really fulfilling and much more just exciting in that way. I could remember what we did even. Amazing.
I could remember his name. It was fantastic. So good.
So, but during the change where my hormones kind of started taking a dip, it was like, okay, this sucks, but I'm not going to let it. I think sex is a really important part of a relationship as far as intimacy and just staying connected. It's so much more, like I said, than the act. So
Mhm.
it's been a goal of mine to try to you know, find the solutions to fix this and
Mhm.
still stay connected with my partner in intimate ways. And, I mean, yeah, I think it's a struggle that a lot of women have too. I mean, I think I have it pretty easy at the moment. So I know a lot of other women kind of struggle with, other issues as far as our lady parts.
Yeah, they are a nightmare. They're a nightmare our entire lives, but then in our
Yeah,
40s, it's like they just really start destroying us from the inside out. It's crazy.
it's cruel, really.
It really is. You said you kind of described your sex life as vanilla, which is funny because even as a porn actress, I describe my sex life as also very vanilla. Um,
Yeah.
but do you think writing, especially for Vice and these crazy things you're writing, have you taken away any like helpful tips that you've taken home to like spice up your own life, or tips that you would suggest other people take home to spice their own sex lives up?
Yeah, I mean, I think writing about this topic for Vice has just made sex so not shameful. It's not
Mm.
weird. You're not crazy if some weeks you don't want to, and you're not
Mhm.
crazy if you want to just like hump everything one week. It's so natural and it's so human.
Mhm.
And I feel like the biggest thing it's made me want to do is just talk more
Yeah.
about it, and especially with my partner, and making
Mhm.
sure we're on the same page and it's not something that you have to keep to yourself if you're feeling like maybe you are feeling that a little off or a little hyped up or whatever, and you need something different, or you want, you're craving something more, whatever
Yeah.
it is. It's like it's just made me realize just like how important it is to talk about, because it's just natural and human. And if you deny those things or those parts of you, it can lead to resentment, it could lead to anger, it could lead to, much bigger issues than not having sex.
Yeah,
So,
the communication is so, so key in any relationship, whether it's a long-term relationship or a new relationship, you know? My girlfriend, I was just talking to her this morning. She's, married, they have 2 kids, they've been together for quite some time, and she was like, "I just don't think he's attracted to me." But when I was like, "Have you tried initiating sex?" And she was like, "No, I just feel like he should." And I'm like, "But have you told him he should?" Because I'm like, I feel like it's really just a point of like he doesn't know you're trying to fuck, you know? So
yeah,
I feel like if
and
he knew.
yeah, exactly. And since becoming sober and stuff, I've had a lot more self-awareness come to me, and kind of stepping
Mm,
back going like, am I the problem here?
mm,
And so kind of using that in my relationship, it's like, sometimes I find myself expecting my boyfriend to do X, Y, and Z
mhm.
to get me in the mood or try something. And it's like, does he though? Maybe
Right.
am I doing anything at all?
You're right.
So, you know, just, yeah, put some thought.
Yeah. They can't read our minds any more than we can't read theirs, you know? So
Yeah.
I told
Yeah.
her today, I was like, because she was like, "Well, I don't want to start a fight." And I was like, "Don't start a fight." I was like, maybe just put up a little like post-it note being like, "I would like to suck your dick," you know, like just a little friendly reminder that we could still do these things.
Yes.
Okay, one more question that I really wanted to get into because it's another term that I'm sure it's been, I've only heard it recently, maybe within the past like 6 months, but I don't know enough about it either. And it is gooning. Now, I know a tiny bit about it, but I'd like you to describe exactly what it is to the listeners and then we'll discuss.
Yes, gooning. It's an interesting one to me because I personally don't get it, but it's again very popular, and it's
Mm,
basically when men they enter like a trance-like state almost by watching porn extendedly while never having an orgasm.
Oh, see, that's not even the explanation I was given. So, okay. Okay, that reframes
They're
everything for
edging.
me.
They're edging for hours.
But not masturbating at all, or just not coming. But they're
Just
just
not
edging. Oh, interesting. See, someone described it to me as just like the nice guys that are in your comment section. Like,
I think if you ask Gen Alpha, they have a totally different
okay.
definition than this article did that I wrote, and also the term that's kind of surrounded in the sex world.
Okay. Okay.
I think you do have to be careful because I think the really young kids say like goon cave and stuff just to like relax. But if you think of
Okay.
it this way, you're like, what now?
Yeah, that's when I feel old. I'm like, I'm feel so far behind the times.
Yeah,
I'm learning new words all of the time, but
yeah,
it's fine.
it's basically it's not about like chasing the full orgasm and getting it done and having that release. It's about chasing the experience of arousal.
Okay, interesting. See,
Mhm.
that's also crazy to me because if I'm about to come, I'm going to come. And I
I
am
know
very angry if I don't.
where I'm saying I don't get it. But I guess it's meditative to some
Oh.
men and also addicting. So,
Oh
yeah.
man. Yeah, you know that moment where like you're about to go and then your vibrator just stops. You're like, no, what? No, you're there. Nothing worse than that feeling. I will
I
be
know. Just look at it as
angry.
Gooning.
Yeah. I don't know that that's going to reframe my brain in that moment, but we'll
Yeah, I
see.
know. It's wild to me, but it's a thing.
Yeah. Okay. Edging before like a date or something, I can definitely see that. Or I know a lot of people in my field will kind of edge before a porn scene because sometimes it's really hard to like connect with a new person right away. So they're like, oh, I'd rather come to set horny. That way, when I get there, it's not so weird. You know, I'd fuck anybody at that point. So, but man, I just can't imagine doing it as a hobby. Wow.
Yeah,
To each their own, you know, to each
absolutely. To each
their
their
own.
own.
Well,
That's the
what,
whole idea
yeah.
here.
Well, what are you working on next, Ashley?
I'm kind of just I get probably dozens of emails a day of
Mm,
just PR people, studies coming my way. Right now I'm kind of doing a more health focused, wellness focused thing at the moment.
okay.
But we are constantly, if something catches the eye, I mean, it's
Yeah.
gonna we're gonna write about it. So nothing around the sex and sexuality world. It's kind of more shifting towards health and wellness. But
I love health and wellness as well. So,
yeah, yeah, same.
all right. Well, tell the people where they can find you and find your articles. And yeah.
Yeah, so you can find all my articles on vice.com. I also do our horoscopes as well, so you can check those out. And yeah, if you have any crazy, amazing, sexy stories or new things that I don't know about, I'd love to hear those too.
Also, I would love to hear them. Please share them so I can go and read them as well. And I'm really going to go look into this penis pumping because, like I said, I got to go get some Botox probably this week. So I'll report
Yeah,
back.
you should ask the nurse who's doing your
Yeah.
Botox if she's had any requests yet.
Yeah, I really, really want to know. And she's really attractive. So if any man is asking, it's probably going to be to her. So,
Yeah.
so. All right, Ashley, thank you so much for doing this. You've been a wonderful guest. And that's it for this today, guys. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to click that subscribe button. And until next time, adios.